The UK team for World Skills will be chosen in a competitive selection event in Warwickshire. 60 young people will be whittled down to the 23 who reach the required standard. It's winner takes all.
This competition is different to other competitions. It's not necessarily about a 1, 2 and a 3. It's about the best competitor overall.
Over 3 days of intensive competition, which mirrors the pressures they'll face in Japan, only those who demonstrate skills excellence will win a place. Those who fail will be going home.
Starting to kick in now, that nerves and that, I suppose. But we know this is going to be a carving. A little bit of carving and a little bit of lettering.
One of the stonemasons has a secret weapon in his armoury.
What's the Vaseline for?
It's for my lips, dry lips. Just a stone does scratch the lips up a bit, so.
Sharpening tools and placing equipment just in the right place is essential.
You're getting all your tools exactly where you know where they are. So you're working away and you're just turning around and you know where to pick up your tools. So it's fastest really.
The soil's prepared for the landscape gardeners. Running it through their fingers gets the adrenaline going.
It's a bit wet, make it difficult to work with.
It's clay, but it's workable. Work with every soil you get, don't you? So work with what you get given. So yeah, it's all right. It's just another plot of soil.
World Skills is held every 2 years. Teams from more than 40 nations compete for gold medals in an event designed to raise standards in vocational skills training. Technical standards are very high, and the young people, all under 22, have to be extremely skilled just to get to the competition. The British team to go to Japan is managed by UK Skills. It promotes competition as a way of developing excellence in vocational skills and learning for work.
You need professional judgment in order to succeed at World Skills, as you would for any of the occupations that we'd give that term profession to. The requirement for planning, self-management, time management, sensible organisation, efficient use of materials, and measurement is there.
After recceing the sites and making sure they've got all their gear together, it's time for the competitors to get a final briefing before the big day.
This is where all the talk stops, all that kind of waffle that everybody's been giving you. Now's the time to perform. If you're serious about going to Japan, the next 3 days is the ones that you have to perform in. And the only person who can really make a difference in the next 3 days is you. And how you make that difference is by being the best you possibly can be.
Time for an early night. The first day of competition. The bricklayers get their hands on the plans. And they're off, working on the first task, which is a setting out project.
There was 1 or 2 initial nerves. You could see they were sort of chomping at the bit, ready to waiting, wanting to get on. But once we actually gave them the drawings and they had something they could start sinking the teeth into, I think they parked the nerves and they became very focused all 4 of them, which was very pleasing.
Bruce Robinson's words are ringing in the competitors' ears. It's up to the individual to perform. The range of skills is astonishing. Welders, plumbers, cabinet makers and joiners, painters and decorators, beauty therapists and hairdressers. There are CAD engineers, car repairers and spray painters. Just some of the 22 trades featured in the selection competition. Graham Squire's one of the cooking competitors. He's well used to pressure, working in the kitchens at Claridge's Hotel in London.
All right, gentlemen, we all set?
I've always wanted to be a chef from about 8 years old, so food's interesting. You know, you never get tired of it because there's so many things you still to learn.
Morton Morrell College near Stratford-upon-Avon are hosting the landscape gardeners. Here, 2 teams of 2 are going head-to-head. Their task, to build an oriental garden. Keith Chapman and Tim Lancaster make up one of the teams. Tim's self-employed and works in North Yorkshire. Keith's also from Yorkshire, where he works for a small landscaping company. He knows there's no guarantee that they'll be going to Japan together.
Any of us could go there.
Yeah.
It might not be it might not be us two, it might be one of us and one of them and vice versa. So it's quite nerve-wracking.
Jenny Norman and Donna Leach are good friends. They work together in the same salon. But here they'll be deadly rivals in the hairdressing competition. They'll be cutting and dyeing hair not on a human head, but on a plastic mannequin head block used for practice and for training at college.
You've got someone who brings in a picture in the salon, you tend to modify it to that person. Whereas with the block, it has got to look exactly like it.
Some blocks have a coating on the hair which can affect your colour, and when you put a colour onto it, you don't always know if it's going to come out true to what it's supposed to. So I reckon it is more difficult doing it on a block, although they can't moan or they can't say they don't like it.
The painters and decorators seem calm and focused. Their first task is to paint a logo with extreme accuracy.
Yeah, they're doing fine. They've got settled in nicely. We're just getting all the work marked out now. It's nice to see they're all going their own way about it. You know, they're not following each other.
Friendly rivals Mark Nevin and Chris Blake both come from Livingston and reached NVQ level 3 at the same college in Edinburgh. The selection competition tests accuracy and technique, where bends have to be perfect and joints clean as a whistle. Wood has to be cut to the nearest millimetre, no making good with filler here. Stone has to be chiselled precisely as laid down on the plans, and there are marks available for artistry too. World Skills is about achieving excellence, against the clock, so it's also a test of the competitor's endurance. They have to sustain high levels of concentration and physical effort over 3 days. That's 18 hours of intensity. And World Skills will run over 4 days. It's truly a skills Olympics.
The links to the sports world go a long way to explain what the whole World Skills competitions are about. The only difference really is that they've got to concentrate for a lot longer. The competition's over 3 days. The level of accuracy and the level of focus and the level of attention that they've got to pay to all the way through is massive.
As the first day's competition draws to a close, the landscape gardeners are level pegging. The decking's underway and stone's been cut for the Japanese lantern they have to build. Chris Dawes and Daniel Seaman were national champions in 2006. And Tim Lancaster and Keith Chapman won the title in 2005, so competition is fierce. The bricklayers are on schedule. They've started the second task, involving decorative bonding and a complicated corbel. Everybody's pretty tired.
If you make a mistake, the worst thing you can do is panic about it and worry. What you need to do is to work out what went wrong and what you need to do to put it right. Remember your marking criteria. If it's worth 2 points or 1 point, what's the point of getting stressed about it and spending an hour worrying?
So, plenty to think about. Day 2, and at the landscape gardening venue there's been a bit of a rumpus. One of the teams has withdrawn from the competition. Chris Dawes and Daniel Seaman from Merist Wood College in Guildford have downed tools. They weren't happy with the amount of materials provided, the judging or the specification for the garden.
We have marked and measured the work that was carried out to the point where the competitors withdrew. That has been recorded and witnessed and put on file just to make it absolutely fair.
This development means that Tim Lancaster and Keith Chapman have to work on alone. But they won't go to Japan unless their work's good enough to meet World Skills standard, so the pressure's still on. The other competitors have to keep up the pace too. Day 2 is when they must press on, keeping the quality and the speed of their work as high as possible. On the afternoon of Day 2, the hairdressers module is to recreate a complex cut and colour from a photograph they've never seen before. It's just like a customer coming into the salon with a magazine cutting.
Right, off you go, girls. Good luck.
Donna Leach is 21 and has trained up to NVQ level 3. Her rival is Jenny Norman, who's 19. She's also trained to level 3 but is less experienced. The cooks are up and running too. 21-year-old Graham Squire works in Claridge's in London as a chef de partie. Sophie Wright's 20 and has passed a 3-year chef diploma with distinction. And Adam Smith is just 19 and works in the Ritz Hotel in London. Their task is to create a dish of their own choosing, but they must use specified ingredients: guinea fowl, mushrooms and duck liver.
Graham's been very busy on this. He's got lots and lots of pans going, lots and lots of action. He's got some stocks here that are going from they were on very, very quickly to get lots and lots of flavour in there. They've only got 2.5 hours, so he's got to get as much flavour into this as possible in a short period of time. Well, as you can see, Adam, he's going slower, probably slightly more methodical. He's making a very intricate mousse here with some different vegetables to give a mosaic effect. Very interesting to see the different styles sort of next door to each other. Sophie's she's got a lot of flavours going on here. She's roasted her bones. It's good use. We're looking for making sure they're using everything. Get it into your stock, and it just enhances the flavour of your sauces. One of the other competitors threw their bones in the bin, obviously lose marks, so that's good point to that. It seems to be going well for all of them at the moment.
Jenny and Donna had to mix hair colouring to match the photographs.
This is the only competition where they won't bring their own colours with them because they will not know what's thrown at them at the dough. So it really is a commercial test as what would happen in a salon in normal everyday life.
They cut twice, before and after the application of the colour. A razor cut requires extreme care. One slip and the damage could be horrible.
Probably it was frightening that they'd actually cut one of the long pieces off, because once it's like anything, once it's off, you can't put it back on again. And this is being marked on replication, so they will lose marks if a bit of hair is not there that should be there.
The cooks are being scrutinised.
OK, competitors, you're halfway through. You've got 1 hour and 15 minutes remaining.
And the judges' eyes are everywhere. Kitchen practice is assessed. Any bad habits picked up will be penalised.
We've got very strict guidelines about health and safety and hygiene. One of the really bad things is to put a tea towel over your shoulder. Now that is what we don't want to see, but with stuff falling in your hair onto your shoulders, onto your tea towel, cross-contamination is a big concern, because there's, you really can't afford to lose marks by silly things like that. The judges spend a lot of time rummaging through the bins just to see what is being thrown away. There's a lot of flavour could be made from these bones just being thrown away. Stick of celery, again, that could go into a stock. So there's actually not too much in there. I've seen a lot worse, but we learn a lot from looking into the bins.